are three spokes. Right? And one thing to remember that most car brands, with the logo, they will try to write the name of the brand, or the brand name will be a letter. For example, Mahindra and Mahindra has M, Mazda has M but in a different way, right? So, but if you talk about Mercedes, this is like this, and you have something like this, right? Something like this. So, and nothing, no Mercedes is written anywhere. In the car, at the back, it may be E-Class, C-Class, that may be written, but usually Mercedes is not written. So this comes to your mind. What is this? What does it mean? There are three spokes, right? What do they mean? Why three? Why not five? Why not 24 like in India, the flag? Remains written. बैठ के बताओ. हाँ.
They are going to resemble air, water, and land. They are going to dominate and make.
Excellent. Wonderful. Very good. Nilesh has said 100% correct answer. The whole idea was to create a logo that can not only tell the customers and potential customers, but also employees and other stakeholders. Some brands are so important. They also provide a guidance and direction for employees and the people, other stakeholders of the company, to indicate the scope of the business. So as he rightly said, what Mercedes said, the Mercedes company decided that we will create products, transportation related products, not necessarily the car. It could be, they make engines. Why they are very well known? Because they make engines. The planes that you fly, a lot of these planes have Mercedes engine. But don't say that the car engine is flying the plane. Okay, that's a different engine altogether. And then ships, you might have seen a lot of ships. None of the ships are called Mercedes ships, but large number of ships and submarines, they actually use Mercedes engines. So Mercedes has got expertise in creating engines, engine technology for three scopes, that is any transportation to the air, land and water. That is why these three scopes, each of them represent that. But the way they created this logo, it became so strongly associated in consumer's mind. Not every consumer understands those three things, but every employee, every organization, stakeholder, they understand this, and therefore they know who are their customers and where they have to work for, what R&D they have to do, what they have to create, better and better engines and products for land, air and water. And in land, do you think they make only cars? Trucks, buses, right? So everything that you can imagine, like our Tata Group, the Mercedes makes all those. And they are the best. Why? Because all these vehicles, they are dependent on the quality of the engine, correct? And it is the engine technology that they have mastered. And that's why they are doing well. So in this case, our mind always thinks about the moment we say Mercedes, we immediately think about this. So same way, when we think about people, we always create association with what is most appealing to us, right? So you all introduced me in the first class, correct? We had a short introduction, name, from where you come and all that. And that resulted into certain association in my mind for each of you. So there is certain association. That association is the source of brand equity. Which source? We have two sources. So this association in mind, what is that? No. Image. The word association is always linked to the image. So association, all kinds of associations about the brand, they are actually about brand image. Image is nothing but what we associate about that brand in our mind. Is that clear? Awareness simply means can we recognize it and can we recall it when we are purchasing. But image is the associations. Associations could be positive, could be negative, could be very complex, could be very simple. It could be one association, sometimes it could be multiple associations. That association is also important for leveraging the brand equity. Once you create a brand equity, you spend a lot of money. You want to lever it. How do you lever that brand equity? It depends on brand association. So then based on that, what we call is extension. So when we talked about, yesterday we talked about Snapple, soda and apple, Snapple. You remember? Now Snapple started with the carbonated apple drink, but eventually it got associated in consumers' mind as a brand that can create fruit juice, carbonated fruit juices. So now Snapple, though the name has not been changed, but the association was not only with the apple juice, they successfully created association with this carbonated fruit juice, and therefore they were able to extend Snapple from apple juice to many other kinds of carbonated juices. So you get a lot of carbonated juice. Now somebody came and said in the company that Snapple is a very famous juice brand, and usually carbonated juice brand. And along with carbonated juice, people normally also take some snacks. So let's create Snapple snacks. Okay? And those were basically in the Western world, in terms of snacks, they put it bhujia and samosa. Those snacks are usually nuts, right? Like peanut, dry fruits. So those are nuts packed in small packs based on the calorie recommended by the nutritionists. So they came with those Snapple nuts packages. Extended the brand from beverages to the food category, right? And what happened? Any guess? What would have happened? Failed. 100% failure. Because the association was with fruit juice, not with nuts or any other snacks. So they miserably failed. Now look at Pepsi. Pepsi makes soda of different flavor, right? That is very strong association. They also thought that they should come up with snacks, but they were wiser. The snacks are not called Pepsi. What are they called? Lay's is only one. But what is the brand that they call?
PepsiCo.
Huh?
PepsiCo.
PepsiCo is the name of the company. The brand of snacks. Have you heard? Lehar, L-E-H-A-R or something like that. You remember this packet? Lehar? They have namkeen, they have chips, they have many kinds of snacks. Right? So this is successful. This is successful. Why this is successful? At the bottom is small letter says from PepsiCo. From that company. But it's successful. It is not damaging the Pepsi brand of beverages, and it is also not damaging the snack brand, because they build a separate brand for this and separate brand for Pepsi. Understand? That's the association part. Let me give you another example by taking same. when we talk about same Pepsi, let us say, the cola drink. Now, this company that I was talking, Snapple, is fruit juice, the kind of beverages, right? So Snapple decided once that we are known for carbonated fruit juice. So let's also bring carbonated water. A lot of people drink carbonated water. And that is also called soda water. You know, when you get a fresh lime soda, so basically that soda is nothing but carbonated water, and they extract the lemon on that, they may put some sugar, some salt, whatever your choice, and the ice. So they decided to come up with soda bottle, and not only that, they also decided, this is how sometimes the new marketing manager comes, and because they have quest to develop new products, everybody has KPI in life. So that based on KPI, they want to do some brand extension, new brand. So they also came up with Snapple Cola. Like Coca-Cola, Snapple Cola. What is your guess? What would have happened to the soda water, Snapple soda water, and Snapple Cola? 100% fake. Because their association is not with the soda or with the carbonation. It's a very strong association for the niche product called carbonated juices. So consumer mind has this is the association. Consumer mind has very peculiar, clear association for everything. Right? Good, bad, whatever it is for everything. Understand? So, and these associations, the meaning, associations create the meaning for consumer in their mind. Today's class, today you are going to bear with me for 3 sessions. All 3 sessions I am taking. Okay? So you have long day with me. I am sorry for that. But in this long day, these are the things that I am going to discuss, the associations, extensions and things like that. So this is why I started with that. But before I continue in a formal way, any questions, comments or feedback that any of you have on whatever we have done so far?
Sir, if a customer is associated with a bunch of customers or customer base, associated with a particular product with some image.
Yes.
So, do we mean to say that particular corporate should not come out with other line extension?
No, we'll talk about it. The only point what I am saying is what association you have created. So here, Reliance is associated with so many product categories.
Correct.
Successfully.
Yes.
Tata, from salt
Yes.
to spices,
Several product lines are
to food grains, to steel, to airlines, right? To software, hardware. Tata is associated automobile with so many products. Why? And they are accepted. They are successful in each of those domains. Do you know their spices and their these food grains are sold at much higher price than rest of the brands?
Yes.
And food grain is a commodity.
Yes.
Correct? Food grains are commodity.
Yes.
But they sell that under Tata brand. It's called Tata Sampurna.
Sampan.
What's that?
Sampan.
Sampan.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I thought Sampurna. So Sampan, Tata Sampan. Now that extension they gave to the brand, and that extension part we'll discuss later, that is expensive but is still successful and very profitable venture. Tata Salt is also quite successful, right? And as you know that the 3 leading airlines of this country are owned by, I should not say leading, but 3 airlines are held by them, because I think for domestic market, Indigo is heading the market now with more than 60% market share. So that is for domestic market, but I guess overall Tata Group has 3 airlines, right? Okay, so we'll talk about that. So let's see what are the sessions, 3 sessions as I said. First we will talk about changes in the digital consumer's decision journey. So the brand decision making journey for regular situation in regular environment was different. As I started by saying in the very first class, you all are digital natives, citizens of the digital world, and you all live in digital era. So therefore, in this era, for you people, the decision making journey, the brand decision making journey is different. We are going to talk about that in the first session. We will also talk about branding, online retailing. And why this is important? Because look at, we have on one hand big online retailers like Amazon, well-established international brand, Flipkart, which is well-established Indian brand, and I think it's acquired by Walmart in India now. That's my understanding. I may be wrong. Somebody can check and tell me that Walmart acquired Flipkart because Flipkart was very successful. Is it acquired by Walmart? Long time back. So Walmart has acquired, looking at the success of Flipkart as online retailer, right? And then you have other online retailing sites which may not be catering to everything like Flipkart and Amazon do, because they cover everything from home appliances, big ticket items, to clothing, to food, everything. You also have a specific segment kind of thing where Myntra is a leading brand of online retailing, right? Lenskart for the glasses, right? And like that, there are also small online retailers. There are many small online retailers, not so big as we talk. In today's time, a lot of students around the world, they are already business people. They study and they do business. This business they do by online retailing. They source the material from somewhere and through online they sell to people. They don't have their own online systems like Amazon or Flipkart. They don't have their own software, their own system. But there are a lot of companies which provide you the platform to create your business, full-fledged business on their site at a very little price. For example, Shopify. Have you heard about Shopify? Shopify is one system that is fully integrated software. Very little price you have to pay every month. You can create your brand, you can create your retail shop, and from back end to the front end, full integration, invoice generation, payment facilitation using any cards, all that is possible. Right? You know about Shopify. There is also in China, for example, WeChat. Like we have WhatsApp, there is a WeChat, and the WeChat has a small business application for small businesses. So, large number of Chinese undergraduate students, they create, and it's a very, very cheap price, they create their brand of online retailing in those WeChat. Sorry? Oh, WhatsApp created that? I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know about WhatsApp. So WeChat was the first one to create those businesses, and large number of Chinese small businesses, not only these students, but even the small scale businesses, they are run on WeChat platform. Then TikTok. Have you heard TikTok? It's banned in India. In China it's called Douyin. In China its name is Douyin. In Chinese, same symbol, same logo, everything same, but the word TikTok in Chinese is called Douyin, so that's why it's Douyin. But actually it is, in rest of the world it's called TikTok. So TikTok also has this provision of creating your online retail store. But that online retail store on TikTok is not as functional or does not have all functionality that you get in WeChat. Okay? You may know that even Facebook has something called marketplace. You understand? The Facebook has marketplace where you can sell things. And you can sell not only new things, you can sell even used things. Correct? So a lot of people do that online retailing even there. So with this mushrooming of online retailing, branding has become very important. So for example, I have a client from Colombia. Colombia is a country in South America. They speak Spanish. It was a very troubled country because of the internal fights. So there were mafias, and those mafias were very powerful. They will kidnap anybody, kill anybody, drug lords. Basically, they were drug lords. So that was a very dangerous country. But in last 20 years, the government changed and things have drastically changed. So businesses have started emerging. My client that I am talking about, she specialized, decided online business, and she is doing this online business using Shopify. As you know, Shopify is available worldwide, right? So she is doing this business on Shopify. On Shopify, she has created her retail store. But look at this branding example that I am giving. She did very smart and intelligent move based on the branding concept. What she did was, there is a specific wood, very special type of wood that is found in Colombia only. Colombia and the part that is bordering Colombia from Venezuela. Okay? So from there, this wood, the good thing about this wood is it's very strong, and when you remove the bark, it is very shiny, and you can glaze it, and it is used to make ornaments, jewelry. Okay, ornaments means jewelry. Now, traditionally it was tribal jewelry. You know how even in India, if you go to tribal regions, they make their own jewelry from various stone, tree, roots and leaves and things like that. So it was good, and they used to make it for their consumption. Now, this girl thought, let's do something which is not in the market, something very unique. So she called it Chunky Rings. The brand name Chunky Rings. So she decided that she will do the business of only selling rings. You understand rings? ऐसे पहनते हैं. So rings, but made of only that material, nothing else. And what is chunky rings? What is chunky rings? What is the meaning of chunky rings? किसी ने रिंग पहना है? आपने पहना. Put your hand like this. If you see his rings, they are not chunky. They are thin, small, stones are small. This is not called chunky. Chunky rings are very thick, very thick. When you wear, they will look very big. Okay? Absolutely looking different. Anybody? I don't think anybody has chunky ring here. So those chunky rings are very, very big, and the design is octagonal. See, normally our designs of rings are only circular, correct? Oval, square also. I don't think I have seen a square rings. The square, that this design would be square, but the ring is only round, right? Round. So this one is octagonal, circular, rectangular, all geometrical shapes that you can imagine. in which the chunky rings are prepared. And they are very strong and they are also very shiny, glazing. She gets this manufactured by those tribals and buys it for 10 American cents. Because Colombian money is very low like Indian money. So, exchange rate. So 10 American cent is good money for those tribals who are making it. Because at the end of the day, it's a free wood that they get from forest. They brush it and they prepare at home, and they were not making any money, they were using for themselves. Now this girl buys from them and generates livelihood for them. And then the chunky rings she displays on her Shopify shop under the brand Chunky Rings, and people from anywhere in the world place the order. And her minimum price, something you buy for 10 cents, the minimum price is $20. So from $20 to $100 for one ring, depending on what it is. And you can even customize, you can give your design and she will get it manufactured in that design. Understand what I am saying? So this is the business she did. So all this concept of chunky rings and designing, that branding I helped with, that's how I was consulting to her. So this is what I am saying. In online retailing also, people have to brand, though they are small business people. It's a small business. Of course, if we talk about the international standards, she is making a lot of money. Her average sale is $10,000 US. Okay? In peak season, it becomes more. But otherwise, normally every month she makes $10,000. $10,000 a month for Colombia is a huge money. It's like if $10,000, somebody gets $10,000 a month salary here, that's a huge money, right? 10,000 will mean 9 lakh of rupees or 8.5 lakh of rupees. How many people get 8 lakh, 9 lakh rupees per month as a salary? Only high-end people, right? I'm not saying nobody gets, a lot of people get, but it's not a common salary, correct? So that money is very big money for her, and it's only growing, it's growing every year. And the cost is very little. Why the cost is little? The raw material, the finished goods, comes for 10 cents. That's a fixed pricing that she has with artisans. These tribals who do it at home, we call them artisans, right? So artisans, fixed price of 10 cents, because for artisans, it's almost negligible price, except when the glazing is tries to be done. A chemical is purchased for that, and that chemical is not very expensive. The glazing is created by the chemical. And when the glazing is created by chemical, you will be unable to figure out that it is made of wood. It will look amazing. So I should have brought the sample to show it to you, but I'm not carrying it. So now, if you don't brand, then many others may be selling the same thing. There is no differentiation. People will not give you, for a 10 cent item, they will not give you $20, right? If you go to Colombia and you go to the normal, what do you call the kind of shop on the street? Sometimes you find people sitting on the street and sell. Huh? Hagglers haggling is an activity, but on the floor you find on the street they put polythene and then they put their things and you buy in that kind of market. What do you call it? Street market, right? Street market. So they are not even registered people. They don't pay any taxes. They are just sitting there. So you have such kind of market in Colombia as well. And that market is operating only on certain days, certain nights, certain days. So there if you go, you can get it for 10 cents, 20 cents, of course converted to their rupee, their dollar, and then that's more money. But from your perspective, you are paying only 10 cents or 20 cents when you are going. And tourists buy it. Local people don't buy it. There are local people, it's just a wood that only drivers are supposed to do it, right? So,
Also called as peddlers.
Huh?
Peddlers.
peddlers. But peddlers word is
Small things, small items.
yeah, but peddlers word is usually associated negatively, right? So that's why I'm not using it. But street vendor is perhaps the correct word. So in Delhi they call it Patri Bazaar. You might have seen when you were in Palm, right? Patri Bazaar. Road पे वो बिछा करके particular day
Tamil will call that as Sunday.
और पटरी बाजार हाँ हाँ फुटपाथ पे बेचते हैं तो उसको क्या बोलते हैं पटरी बाजार हाँ फुटपाथ बाजार
In local places where
Yeah.
this localized for particular day happens, we call it hut.
yes hot that's the word I was searching for hot correct it happens only on certain day maybe night or evening or morning
South also it does.
huh? I think across the world it is except in some developed countries it has vanished because of the regulations. So in America you don't find it. Germany, if you are in big city you don't find it. Go to small cities it is still there. So yes, hot. That's correct word. In Delhi they call it Patri Bazaar. Here it's called hot. Correct. That's the word I was searching for. So now that Patri Bazaar has moved to online retail. So in online retailing, anybody can become businessman. All of you can become businessman. But idea, you should have an idea. Like this girl had an idea, right? And then she was brave enough. When she was not making money, she was brave enough to spend money on consulting services to get the branding done. Because she knew that if she can create a brand for her chunky rings, then the sale will automatically happen. That was the concept, that was her belief. And she was correct. She was correct in her approach. And how did she find me? Because she studied at NYU some time ago. And when she went back, she was in touch with alumni network. And whatever research I do or something good we do, the university tells to the alumni as well, so that alumni feel proud of it. Not just me, any NYU professor, if they have done something different, something good, they will put it on alumni page, so alumni can know and feel proud about it. That's a brand building for university. So that's how she read in one of the posts, and then she wrote, because in America, the students get the email ID and password for life. So like if you have studied, let's say 30 years ago at NYU, you are given an NYU email ID and password, and you have access to that for the whole of your life. So then once you have that access, you can type my name and you will immediately get the full ID. So you can write the mail. So that's how she wrote to me. And then she invited me. I went to Bogota and did the work for her. And I also felt proud that my alumni, ex-alumni, I have not taught her ever, because she was much before, is doing something different, something unique, right? So what I'm saying, that all of you do it, but all of you can do it, but many people miss this part. And then if you don't brand, then what happens? You become, what did I tell you yesterday? Commodity. Commodity is also me too. When you say me too, वो बेच रहा मैं भी बेच रहा हूँ, right? But I will sell at cheaper price. Then that is called commoditization. Brands, commoditization of brand. With hard work you create brand, and then you can spoil your brand by playing the price game, and people do not distinguish you anymore with your value rather than just the value for the money. Clear? Okay. So this is the part we discussed, and I will talk about it more. The next important part is loss of control over brand messages. This is, in digital era, this is a very critical problem. So we'll talk about it then we talk about co-creating brand meaning. Earlier, there was one-way communication. So brand was built by the company. What has happened in your mind, what meaning, I have tried to create a meaning in your mind about the brand, but what meaning got created in your mind, I have no idea. I have no idea, and I never bothered about it. But the fact is that once you create a brand meaning, brand association, what actually gets created in consumer's mind may be different. So it's better to co-create. Understand what customer is thinking about your brand and then create and accept that, integrate it and reposition your brand, create a new association, which is what customers are able to relate. So we'll talk about that, and then I think the last part of this session is about brand engagement and its drivers. So any questions before I move further? Just go ahead, Sudhir.
Sir, you told the association is actually related to image, and image is
Not related to, association is image.
okay. Association is image.
Image is measured by measuring the associations. Go
And
ahead.
this is what builds the equity, brand equity.
Exactly, it's the second component of brand.
So you have given some example like Snapple.
Yeah,
Some products were fake. So is it possible that that brand, if it is launched in another context, another country, is it going to be the same or?
so the idea is that it should be same. Idea is that association should be same and it should remain same. But in reality, it may be different. So then company has to decide what do you want to do. And there is a very good example for that. You know the washing machines? Washing machines? Not the front loading, the top loading washing. There are two types of washing machines, front loading and the top loading. When I think more than 20 years ago, when the washing machines existed for a long period of time. But in Indian market, I think it is more than 20 years ago when washing machines were brought in. And some of the first washing machine seller was a Bosch from Germany, which is called here as IFB. Have you heard the brand IFB? They had a factory in Goa and they started making washing machines. They were the first one. And they were targeting only ultra premium class people, super rich people. Because at that time, others even didn't have exposure to washing machines. So they were only looking for the customers at the higher end who may be aware and it may be easier to sell them, and it was very expensive item. Then after that, with that globalization and liberalization, which started, we give the credit to Manmohan Singh, etc., but actually it started at the time of Rajiv Gandhi. So when that happened, two Korean brands entered home appliances market in India in a very aggressive manner. One was called LG, another was called Samsung. You guys remember these two brands? They still exist. LG and Samsung. LG, do you know what is the full name of LG? Huh? Life is good. That's not the full name. Life is good is their slogan. Okay? The name is Lucky Gold Star. But that was not reflecting what they were actually. So like General Electric does not reflect what they do now. So it is called GE. Similarly, Lucky Gold Star became LG. Okay? So now it's LG everywhere in the world, but its original name is Lucky Gold Star. Life is good is their slogan. Okay, now, so these two companies came and they brought the washing machine at a cheaper price. IFB washing machines were all front loading, high technology, front loading. You need more electricity, you needed more water flow. So it was really meant for a different class of people. LG and Samsung created the product for Indian market. We have water problem, we have electricity problem, the water flow problem. So your machine is running, suddenly the current is gone, then it should not restart from the beginning. So wherever the clothes are, when the current comes back, it should resume, not restart. Understand? So all that features they considered, and they were trying to sell these washing machines in India. The meaning that they were trying to create was convenience, long life for your clothes, cleanliness, hygiene, etc. This is what they were trying to create. The sale was very slow because still in India the maid or the servants were a lot more cheaper, and those who could buy the machines, they were already having servants at home. So Indian concept, as you know, exploitation. So when I already have a servant and maid, if I bring machine, वो क्या करेगा? उसको किसके पैसे देगा? Right? So it was not accepted. Same is problem with the dryer. With washing machine, there is also a dryer. Even if people have washing machine, they don't have dryer. Why? Because they hang the clothes. Even a beautiful home, on their balcony, they will hang the clothes to dry it, right? So that is the concept, but Korea was not that concept. So they thought it will sell, so they were trying to transfer that meaning. This is the answer to the question that you asked, that what happens when you go to a different country. So they were trying to transfer the similar meaning because they thought it's a universal requirement, cleaning clothes, washing your laundry. This is a drying, it's a universal requirement, it's a basic requirement. So they thought that there is nothing different in this, it's not a food that you will have a different taste. They were trying to sell. So nothing was happening, and as usual, you know what happens, the national sales manager will call all regional sales managers, area sales managers, and shout at them, yell at them, give them a threat that you have given so much sales target, you have only achieved this much. If you don't do this, we can't protect your job, you will be fired. Right? What do you do? When the market is not ready, what do you do? So, okay. Now, this is your journey that I am talking about. This is an expanded consumer decision journey in this case. So, if you remember your consumer decision making process, that journey was 5-step process, correct? From need recognition to satisfaction, reaction, feedback, dispose of, whatever part. So those were 5-step process. In digital era, it is now not 5 steps. So when it starts with feeling of a need, you felt a need or want for something, for a product or whatever. So when you have that, then what you do is you want to know about it. So the moment you feel that, okay, I want to travel tomorrow after the class to my hometown. You just felt this need or desire. You are missing your parents or you are missing somebody. So you want to go. So you felt it. As soon as you felt it, now you want to know about it. That how do I go? Will I have enough time? You want to have complete information about it, right? What are the options to go? So you start searching for information. Then what you do is you start considering. You get into, should I go, should I not go, should I go by bus, should I go by train? This is part consideration part. And then what the next step is, you learn about it. Whatever items you are, I'm taking very simple service example of transportation. But in products, it is much more serious thing. Think about it that you want to buy a computing machine for playing games, video games, right? Now you just imagine that these steps, how they happen. When you have the need, Now you want to know more about what kind of machines are suitable for playing video games or the AI games or whatever it is. Then you want to consider various options available based on this knowledge. Then you want to learn, by consideration you want to learn more about the one that you like it. Based on that knowledge, that learning, then you will find that you like a particular model, a brand or option more than other alternatives that are available to you. Then you are willing to pay for it. That's the next question. How much money are you willing to pay for it? Correct? So you will be looking for your willingness to pay. Then you choose to try it. One good thing about today's era is that trial option is being given. Correct? Like if you buy anything on Amazon or Flipkart or Myntra, you have trial period. Right? You can return it if you don't like it. Agree? So that is what you are doing here. You in the earlier model you didn't have this practice. Do you remember before digital era, before you had this Amazon and Flipkart, if you bought something from any shop, it was, unless you have special relations, they will say बिका हुआ माल हम वापस नहीं लेते. They were putting this kind of plate on their shop. बिका हुआ माल हम वापस नहीं लेते. Right? So those were the very stringent terms and conditions. Once sold, it's gone. So it will get into this stage that you have choose to try it, and when you have this, you have tried. After that, you may decide to consume, okay, or not to consume. And once you decide to consume it, then you start looking at, are you satisfied with it? Okay. If you are satisfied with it, the possibility is that you go to the next level and you become loyal buyer of this brand. And when you become loyal brand of this brand, then the next is engagement with it. So remember, earlier all the things were ending here. Satisfied, dissatisfied, whatever it is. Now satisfaction, then brand loyalty. So is person loyal to the brand? But loyalty now is no more that you are buying again and again. We are talking about resonance. In that resonance stage, what happens? We move further and we start engaging with the brand. What is brand engagement? Engaging with the brand means we look at their Instagram, we subscribe to the Instagram, their Facebook page, right? We are looking for any news, information, action from them. We talk to our friends and suggest them, I bought this phone, this is very good. When you change, you should also try to change. This is called engagement. Okay? People writing something on blogs or comments, you replying, no, my experience is different. All this is called engagement. So the brand engagement happens, and finally what happens is active advocacy for it. Actively you are, without people asking, you are telling them, you are selling it for people to buy it, to use it, to do it. You must do this, you must go there, you must visit that, right? So that is called active advocacy. And this is what in resonance we call active intense loyalty. So now in the digital era, this journey of 5-step process has become 12-step process. Is that clear? Any questions? And a lot of this is happening online. The good thing is a lot of this is happening online. The offline, even suggesting people this part that we are talking, all this is online. It's not necessarily physical. A friend tells you that I'm thinking about buying a phone or a laptop. That's it. And you immediately start telling me, hey, I evaluated all these brands and I have been using this for so many years and I suggest you to buy this one from this retailer. The moment you talk all this, that is that active intention. Advocacy. Clear? So, this is the digital era customer buying decision process. No more 5 steps, it is 12 steps. Is this clear, my friends?
So who is loyal according to you, sir? The person who buys more, brings revenue to the company in a large scale, or a person who continuously uses it, or a person who refers and yes. Who
Very
is more
good.
loyal?
Okay, this is a very good question the madam has asked. 3 types of loyalties he is talking about. One is somebody keeps buying your product again and again. That means brings more revenue to the organization. The second point he is saying is that the customer may not buy again and again, but whatever he has bought, he is using it regularly. So he is active user. So in terms of revenue to the company, it's not necessarily more, but he is active user because he is using it continuously. And the third situation he is talking about is that you might have purchased, you might have never purchased, but you are advocating, you are telling others to purchase a brand. Correct? These are the 3 options you gave. So she is asking which one according to me is loyal. So from science point of view, the loyalty literature, all 3 are loyalties. Now, each of them are different type of loyalty. So the one that is buying again and again and again, okay, that is called intense loyalty, resonance situation in our pyramid. Intense loyalty. The one who is actively using, continuously using, is called behavioral loyalty. So you are loyal by your behavior. Even the buying one also falls under the intense behavioral loyalty. Okay? The third one that she is talking about, the advocacy behavior, that is called true emotional loyalty. We talk positive or negative about something in an intensive manner when we have love for it. We love it, right? So I may not have money, that's why I'm not buying. But I love it. And that's why I am asking everybody to do it. So that's the level I have reached here. This is called active intense loyalty, which is what we use in the pyramid called resonance. Did I make it clear? There is also another kind of loyalty
Only
where
once they will buy with a large scale.
yes, there is another type of loyalty that you didn't ask. I have very positive attitude towards a brand and I just don't have resources. The moment I will have resources, I am going to buy that brand.
Prospective loyalty.
No, there is different term for it. But I do not talk to anybody about it. Okay? I do not advocate, I do not talk. So right now, I am loyal to that brand, but I haven't bought, I have not used, none of this is happening. That is called attitudinal loyalty. Attitudinal loyalty. So I have positive attitude towards it. Okay? And the moment I will have resources and conditions favorable, I will buy it.
And in buyer term, he may be called as prospective buyer.
Yes, so he will be potential buyer, a prospective buyer, but the loyalty is called attitudinal loyalty.
He has money, he is called as potential buyer.
Yes.
If he's having the intention, it is called as prospective buying.
Correct. And now remember one thing, that attitudinal loyalty is the beginning of loyalty. If you do not have a positive attitude towards a brand, these steps will not happen. So where do you start forming the attitudinal loyalty? This is attitudinal loyalty. The moment you start liking it, that means you have a positive attitude towards the brand. So this is the step where you develop your attitudinal loyalty. Understand? And when you move from here and you have done this and move to this is called behavioral loyalty. Because you have acted. Understand? And once you have done this, and this is outcome of behavioral loyalty, and when you move from this on these dimensions, if you are only repeatedly buying it, so that's your behavioral loyalty, but this and this is your intense active loyalty. These two are part of your resonance part. This is also called, there is another term for this in the previous language, in the previous traditional language, because as I said, now we are using the digital era language. In the previous language, this part was also called as emotional loyalty. Understand? So attitudinal loyalty was okay. Behavioral loyalty could be for many reasons. Why? Always get the cheapest. I don't have money.
Sentiments.
I don't have option. BSNL is only available. So I use only BSNL. Does it mean that I'm loyal to it? Indian Railways is the only option. I travel by that. Does it mean I'm loyal to it? Understand? So that is the behavioral loyalty. That's why behavioral loyalty is good for revenue generation, but not good for brand building perspective. Because at the end of the day, if you create the brand, the sale will automatically happen. If the brand is created in consumer's mind. If the brand is not created and customer is buying something just because of price, convenience, unavailability of options, etc., that is not the emotional loyalty. It is only the emotional loyalty that stays in your mind, which is what people misunderstand in human loyalty, human relationship loyalty as love. Misunderstand. There is nothing like love. There is no love that exists in this world. It's a construct that is portrayed in films and mythological literature for maintaining the order in the society. But if you really look at it, there is nothing in reality. There is no love. It's most misused and overused word called I love you. I love you too. My grandson, he is 3-year-old. The moment I tell him I love you, Nivan, he says, Nana, I love you the mostest. I love you to the moon and back. All these statements I don't know from where he has learned, because we never talk like that. But he has learned all this, and he is just 3-year-old. So imagine how he is talking, I love you to the moon and back. I love you the mostest. All these words he is saying. But he even doesn't understand what it is. Right? A 3-year-old kid, what will he understand? They don't have any understanding. Their mind is still not very well developed. So remember one thing, when we say there is a concept called brand love and brand hate, nobody loves anybody. There is nothing like love. Okay, you have to think seriously. Don't think that I am a crazy guy. I am a researcher, and I have done research in the field of brand love a lot. And to do work on brand love, I have to study the human love. Because the love originated, so-called the construct originated from the human love. But the human love concept is a hypothetical concept created through mythological literature and by society to create certain social norms to keep the society in order.
Question is like the degree of loyalty or the thing that we are talking about, the resonance.
Yes.
How different it is in generation wise, like for Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, for the digital era. How different?
Very good point. And what he is pointing out is something worth thinking, and that is why I made the statement that there is nothing like love. People say love is eternal. There is nothing eternal. It's all contextual and relative. So coming back to what he's saying, that these loyalty that we talk about, are they different for different generations? Conceptually, they are not. But practically, think about it. Expecting that a brand today resonates with me or with you will also resonate with you or with me 10 years down the line. I'm still not talking about generation, I'm talking about same generation. 10 years down the line, a brand that resonates with you right now, will it resonate with you in future as well? And exactly, that's the point I'm saying. And same for the generations. It's not the generation's problem. It is just that brand has done a problem here. What is the brand's problem? Why it is not why we don't find the same resonance? Because we move. Human beings are, all living beings, is one characteristic is they move.
No, I'm not talking about a particular brand or something like that. I'm talking about the overall loyalty kind of thing. Like see, when I was a child,
Yes.
when I was a kid,
Yes.
I had fewer options. I had, in terms of like pencils, I had Apsara and Natraj.
Yes.
So I had like, since I had fewer options,
Yeah.
so there was an automatic loyalty towards
Whatever was available.
one particular brand.
Correct.
I have a niece now. She has a lot of options.
Correct.
And I don't see any loyalty for a particular brand in her. That's what I mean, the degree of loyalty for any brand.
What is her age?
She is 10 now.
Okay. Now, so first of all, as we say that kids until the age of 16, their brain keeps developing, and they are not stable in terms of their likings, dislikings, attitudes, etc. That's why I asked you the age. So we don't talk about loyalty for them because it is the loyalty of parents. That's where the parental loyalty influences the children consumption behavior. Okay? So that's not the example. That's not the right example. We need to talk about us, our age. And I completely, this is what I was trying to say, when I have no option and I continue buying something, that is not necessarily the loyalty.
Yes.
That's a compulsion. So we call it behavioral loyalty, but that behavioral loyalty is neither attitudinal loyalty nor it is emotional loyalty. It's not resonating, but I am still using. You get my point? I am buying it, using it because I have no option, but emotionally I am not satisfied. This whole side is not happening. This part is not happening. Now, when I get alternative or not just alternative, knowledge. See, let's also understand, or like your 10-year-old daughter, niece, how much knowledge she has about.
Apart from it, if I may have used wrong example.
Okay,
I'm trying
anything.
I'm trying to use another example.
Huh.
Like for our parents,
Yeah,
what I've seen is loyalty towards a particular brand
correct.
is more
Yes,
than what I'm seeing in my case or in our generation.
yes. And you know why? This is exactly I was trying to explain. As we grow older and older, our thoughts become mature in different ways. We, in our young age, we are more exploratory in nature. As we grow older, we want more confirmation than the exploration. So which means that we start sticking to a particular brand more in our older age, and the reason is it's about the efforts. The efforts and the knowledge. As I was saying in terms of knowledge, even our knowledge. Today you have a particular brand of phone. And why you have that brand of phone? Because in your knowledge, that seems to be the best option and satisfies all your requirements, so you use it, you also advocate for it, you resonate. 10 years down the line, you will become much more knowledgeable, and maybe today you have IT knowledge, but tomorrow you may also become knowledgeable about the technology inside the mobile phone. And if you become more knowledgeable about the technology inside the mobile phone, and you may have much more money as well, and there may be a new option available, that means this brand of mobile phone has not maintained or moved up with your growth, your intellectual growth, your mental growth. It has not moved up, your socio-economical growth, and they have not created that option which 10 years down the line is available for you. So when you move to the other brand, somebody will think you have switched the brand. Yes, you have switched the brand. But why you have switched the brand, despite of having the resonance? Because this brand does not resonate anymore. So brand loyalty, brand resonance, branding is a dynamic concept. The meaning of dynamic concept means it also has to move on. And I'll give you a very simple example. The new phone that is going to come, it's already there. The beta version is already there. It's a phone which is in the air. So you might have seen in Pixar movies. So you don't have any device. You will not carry any device. You will just subscribe. You will buy a particular system which exists in the air, and you will bring your palm in front of you, and you will press a particular finger place, like password finger scanning, and then the moment you do that, your phone will be in front of you, a big screen. Only you can see, nobody else can see. And you will type or you will press, and you will be able to talk, you will be able to send message, you can browse, but only you are able to see it. Nobody else can see it. So that is the new phone that has been developed. So imagine when that phone will come, like even today some people still have the brick phone. Now look at this, the older generation is not willing to move, they still want to use the brick phone. Everybody knows the brick phone, right? But the younger generation, you will not find anybody who is using the brick phone, right? Everybody is moved to the smartphones because of the application requirements, whatever.
So, but is it safe to say that loyalty is more in the age, and as older is the customer,
As per the
loyalty
research.
is more?
Is stronger, yes. So this part is correct.
So for companies or brands,
Yeah.
they should put more money for new customer acquisition. They should more money with the lower age group.
And that they always do that. If you look at most brands, their target audience, main target, unless the brand is meant for a particular, the certain brands are created for certain age, right? But otherwise, most brands are always looking for targeting the largest population base. Largest population base. Now, depending on the country, so our country right now in the world is one of the youngest country, in the sense that we have more younger population. So naturally, that's where they have to target. But if you go to Japan, for example, the younger population is very little. It is the older population that is much higher. So all the brands are focusing on the older generation products and focus on the older generation segment. So it is contextual, the brand is contextual, and therefore every factor, the demographics are important part of branding. Is that clear? So it's natural that in India right now all brands are focusing and should focus on the younger generation, which when I say younger generation, I am talking about Gen Z and Gen Alpha, because that's a large base. From that perspective, we are the youngest, right? But the real challenge which I have been telling from beginning, you have to move up with the customer. Nirma example I gave yesterday. Nirma,
Relevance with that.
they could not move up with the changing customer lifestyles, right? The Gen Z and Gen Alpha doesn't love that Nirma brand. And why they don't love it? It's not the matter of age. It's matter of the way they behave. As I said, they change clothes more often, they do laundry more often than our parents' generation. And why the older generation gets more fixed on that? Because they do not want to put more efforts. And so I'll give you a very simple example. There may be very good clothing brands that might have come, for the younger generation, newer generation. For example, Lululemon. Lululemon is a very comfortable brand for focusing on Gen Z, for comfortable clothing, exercise, yoga, for all these kind of things, right? Very nice brand. I never ever even go inside that shop. Why? At my age now, and after this health issue, the brain hemorrhage, I am not allowed to do any exercise. I can't even do yoga, because if I do yoga, I have to do, put the head, and if the blood circulation suddenly comes here with unregulated speed, or it goes up or down, then I may have another brain. So I have restrictions. So what do I depend on? I depend on my past memory. And that past memory says that 10 years ago, the best men's brand, or the ultra luxury men's brand, was Boss, right? So as I said, I stick to the Boss. This does not mean that Hugo Boss is still the best brand. I'm sure there must be much higher brand that might have come, much better brand that might have come. But for me, that's the brand I'm loyal to. Did you get the point? Because I don't want to put any efforts. I don't want to try. So as we age, we become more risk averse, and we get used to using what we get used to. Clear? Next. Anyone else has any question?
Result says that loyalty is also, disloyalty or churn rate is very high in case of developed countries than developing countries.
Yeah,
It goes like that, and also age.
that's
also
right.
matters.
And why it is in developed country? Because
They
of
have
the
more
options.
Options they have.
Yes. So options is the enemy of loyalty. Yes.
Sir, from the discussion, what I understood, I may be wrong.
No, go ahead. Doesn't matter.
So the thing is that what I understood is that
Yeah.
whenever that brand, a young brand comes and that brand acquires the customers.
Yeah.
So the age of that brand, the life cycle of that brand can be related to the population or the customers they have, and if the brand is like doing the innovation and the creation that is required for that customer. So there is a relationship between the life cycle of the brand and with the consumer base, their life.
Yes. So what you are saying, you are trying to draw the parallel between the consumer's life cycle, human being's life cycle, and the brand's life cycle. There is a third thing that you are ignoring, the product life cycle. Because brands are linked to the product.
Yes, sir.
And the products also have a life cycle.
Yes, sir.
Right?
So main conclusion is that whether that product life cycle is like linked with that consumer's life cycle.
So that is where, as I said, depends how you have built the brand and what association you have created. Tata is age-old brand, correct? How old is Tata? Just think about it.
Synthol.
No, Tata answer. Tata has been an old brand 50 years, 60 years, 80 years ago. It is even now, right? A lot of Tata brands have remained relevant, and they kept on extending the life cycle of the brand by bringing different products or improving the products or modifying the product. This is one example. Godrej started almost same time. Godrej as a brand started almost at the same time. And many things they made. And from many product categories, they are out of the market. They are no more, people are no more loyal to the Godrej brand.
So it is that how the brands are actually accommodating with the need of the customers, and that decides how it is.
How the brands are moving
Yes.
and adjusting themselves with the changes in the time. And that is extremely important. That's why we say the pyramid that you have seen, the salience, it starts with salience. Salience, relevance of a brand is based on the association, the image we are talking about. If that remains of great same, you have problem. But if that continues to be reinforced, then you will be able to move with the time. Clear? Okay. Now let's look at the new topic within this that we are talking about. This is new media environment. And what is this new media environment doing? Why we are talking about this is because here you see, I talked about this, I'm now talking about this. Why do we have loss of control over brand messages? This is the reason. Earlier, there was one to all communication. This is not one to all. There was one to all communication. Companies sending messages, same messages, same brand building efforts to everyone. Correct? Then time came, and which is still happening, where there is one-to-one. Means the brand communicates to a particular customer, and customer can communicate to the brand directly. This was also controllable because you are interacting with each brand, each customer, you can control it. In the first one, the customer has nothing to say. That is outdated, old brand. This exists even now in some cases where you have a great control because it is one-to-one, so you can always control it. Now, this is the latest phenomenon. In the latest phenomena, what is happening? It's no more one-to-one. It is many-to-many communication. Many-to-many. Understand the meaning of many-to-many? So, brand is sending messages. Even if one-to-one brand is trying to do, the problem is that A customer talks to B customer and the C customer, and the B customer talks to the A customer and the C customer and the brand, and they all are interconnected. So many are communicating with many for the same brand. Now, company can have control only on this. How will you control this? How will you control this? How will you control this? Understand this part? This is the problem. And why this is happening? Because we have the media options, especially the social media options, technology options, that have given you opportunity to interact with anybody. No control. You cannot stop it. Right? It's uncontrollable, unstoppable. Whether it's truth about a brand or rumor about it. So, because of that, now we have this serious problem of loss of control over brand messages. And so option, what do you do when this is happening? What you do is, good companies try to take advantage of this. They have now different type of media managers, and this position is called social media manager. Air New Zealand was the first company in the world that officially created the whole department called social media management department. and the first manager of that company was my student. The first social media manager in the world was my student. So why and what his job was? His job was to continuously monitor all social media communication with his team. So in team, each team member was given certain responsibility. Okay? Continuously monitoring that, understanding that, and based on that creating new communications, because brands are built using communication. Every moment, so brand meaning is being created. I have created a meaning that has been understood or misunderstood, and the people are talking about my brand something else. So I am extracting this meaning and recreating the meaning for the brand. That's called co-creation. So together we are creating the meaning. And this social media management team from Air New Zealand joins all these groups, and when this reaction or comments are coming, they are also responding and acting real time. It's happening. So you posted something and immediately somebody responded from Air New Zealand. Imagine how engaged you will become there, right? And together you will create the new meaning. So the solution for this problem that I am talking about is the co-creation of the brand meaning. Who am I to create the meaning? Meaning gets created in your mind, and therefore what we are talking about, the loyalty as compared to past and now, the whole concept is now different. If something, a brand does not have a meaning to you now, even if it was resonating, that resonance is gone. The brand has missed the opportunity to maintain that resonance. So it's a both way efforts, right? So this is why the whole concept has changed now. So you can see here there are some options that you will find. What is firm generated brand meaning, which we talked about. Then you have consumer generated brand meaning, and then you have media and cultural influences on your brand meaning. What media writes about you, what culturally brand is taken. Do you know that some brands get boycotted? Brands are great, very popular in some country, but culturally, for cultural reasons, they just boycott the brand. I'll give you the example.
Amul also. Amul also in America, they boycotted. They didn't use this symbol. If they didn't use the symbol of plus, these people are very filic on their religion, their culture. There is a history for it.
The Amul. Okay, I'm not aware. But Israel and Palestine war, you are aware? Because of that, all the Islamic countries, most of the Islamic countries have, without issuing any official letter, culturally they have decided to boycott the products made in Israel. This is where we are talking about cultural influences that also create meaning. So for example, they call it दुश्मन का brand. ये brand दुश्मन का brand, so हम नहीं use करें, right? In China, they are very clear. No one has to ever buy and use Indian brands. That's a cultural fact. Government has not issued any order. Government has not issued any order. But practice is like that. Tesla, that sells a lot, even in Middle Eastern countries. But in China, there was a sponsored campaign against Tesla. False complaints, rumors that the Tesla cars do not apply the brakes at time. It skids. It's not a safe car. This is specifically done only for Tesla brand. They sell European cars, Chinese. If they have money, they don't buy Chinese brands of cars. They buy Audi, BMW, Mercedes. Those are the kind of cars they buy. But American cars, they do not want to buy. So any American brand that comes, there is a sponsored campaign against that brand. All these statements that they issue for the Tesla and social media as well as the print media, television media was used to spread this information rumor and create fake videos using artificial intelligence technology.
Activities.
Yes. So they created those videos. And the Tesla, they created a bad image for the Tesla. But I am a Tesla user and I am telling you none of those stories are true. Not only that, my ex-PhD student who is a professor in China now, she's a Chinese, she's a professor in China, in her own country, she did PhD with me in a different country. She uses Tesla and she had just had a baby in the month of October. And when she had a baby in the month of October, that's the time she changed her previous car, Honda, to Tesla. So I asked, I recently met her. She invited me and I never say no to my students. I have a special love for my students. So she invited me, so I went there and I saw that she was using the same Tesla, the highest end, the one that I use in America. So I said, yeah, how come you are using Tesla? In China, people think Tesla is the most unsafe and you have a young baby. With the baby, you are using unsafe car. You know what was her reaction? She said, Professor, you know, we are marketing people. We know this rumor was spread because it was sponsored because the product comes from America. But today the world's safest car is Tesla. Do you know that the world's safest car is Tesla? Because of its AI technology. It's driven by AI technology. So she said, for any mother, the baby, the first baby, and who is just born in October, is the most precious thing, right? So she said, I wanted the safest car for my baby. That's the reason I bought Tesla. So this is a Chinese, and she's a very nationalist Chinese, very nationalist Chinese. She will not hear anything against China from anyone. And she bought Tesla. So here is an evidence that the people have a different meaning for the brand, but there is a propaganda that is created against that, right? So that meaning was created, and we will take a break because maybe your tea is ready, and then we'll come back. And the next part of the session, I will talk about brand engagement pyramid. Okay, we talked about brand resonance pyramid. Now I will talk about brand engagement pyramid. Because from this journey, if you remember, we are talking about the engagement part. So I'm getting into this part. So we'll talk about brand engagement pyramid, and we will also talk about managing negative brand engagement. Positive brand engagement, we all know. Just now the example that I gave you about Tesla was the negative brand engagement. How this is being managed, so we'll talk about that, and then the digital brand management structure. So this is the pyramid, we will discuss about it when you come back. So have a quick tea, 10 minutes break. So your tea, coffee. So this pyramid that you see here is the second pyramid, and this is called brand engagement pyramid. And in this, unlike that which has the 4 levels, this has 3 levels, as you can see here. And what we are saying in this pyramid, the base that you see here, in terms of our target audience for the brand, the target audience, some target audience are not very engaged. They may be using the brand, but not very engaged. They may be loyal customers, but despite of being loyal customers, they are not engaged. Then there are some customers who are moderately influenced, and there are few customers from your target segment who are highly engaged. Now, every company, every brand manager wants highly engaged. So they want to move these customers from here to here. You see this red line? They want this base to move to this, and this base to move to this. And what do they do for that? They use the brand marketing. The brand marketing strategy, communication, tactics, that we will learn more in the next week when you come. Or the brand elements that we have talked about. That's what they use differently at each level. Remember, there is a different brand marketing at each level because lot more efforts are needed to convert these into this and to convert these into this. At the same time, there is, and this is actually the earlier question Bharti and that you were talking about, this explains that. So here at the same time you have non-brand influences. So that brand is not influencing, but competition is a non-brand influence. It's competitor's brand. Consumers hatred for something, frustration because of something. The boycott concept that I was telling you for Israeli products, or that Islamophobia, these things are called non-brand influences. These non-brand influences have a problem. What is the problem? They can bring the highly engaged customers down to this, or even the moderately engaged customers to not very engaged customers. That's their job, to do this effort. So they put effort here, and the brand marketer has to not only work to bring this, they also have to put efforts to block this, to stop this. Is this clear? So now, I talked about the example that our friend talked about during the break. Excellent example. He said some people who were the regular user of Reliance Jio phones, they just moved from Jio to Bharti because they didn't want Jio to have monopoly. You made that statement, right? Now this is a non-brand influence. Bharti is not influencing them. Jio is not influencing them. But this is a movement coming from society. So what is happening here? Either this or this category people, they are being pushed to be non-engaged or not very engaged with Reliance Jio. And therefore, they get disengaged here and get engaged with the competitor brand. That is Bharti Tele. Understand? This is the example we were talking about. So, this non-marketing, non-brand influence can bring it down, and that includes the competitor's influence. And arresting this is a very important issue. For PhD research, those of you who are working on that, this is a very critical research topic, practically highly relevant, and if you can create a theory or model for this, that will be welcomed by the journals and the industry like anything. You want to do PhD in future, I am giving you a topic now. Okay, very interesting topic. Because this is a real serious problem. And that's what leads to what we call brand switching today.
So it may increase the engagement also.
Sorry?
It may increase the engagement also for.
That's what we are putting here, brand influence. Oh, you mean the non-brand influence? Yes. It
may
can
increase
also, it can also act towards increase.
Yes.
However, the problem is most of the time it is this going down.
So actually, in case of BSNL, it happened that that engagement has increased actually.
From past.
Yes.
From past.
When the prices were high, the direct-
Exactly. So, but that was a temporary. It's not the So I will say it's not the engagement.
Opportunity cost.
It's a switching.
Okay.
Understand? So that's why we are only talking about the engaged customers. I'm still not talking about every customer. Right? So within engagement, within resonance, there are 3 different levels of resonance, is what I'm talking about. And this is why I said it also answers your question that despite of having resonance in different generations,
So like for Jio it's going down.
yes,
But for
Bharti,
it's going up.
it's going up.
For similarly what he was asking.
Yeah, but for BSNL, whatever is happening, see, people are engaged with Bharti. People are not engaged with BSNL. They take, but they are not happy. They are just switching because of the price, right? Engagement is where there is a resonance part. So when you said that the engagement of parental generation versus your generation versus other generation, we are talking about that brand loyalty.
Brand
The
connect.
engagement comes with the loyalty. Understand? That's what we are talking. That the loyalty has, the resonance has 3 different levels. There is other level here, which is they are consumers, brand consumers, but they are not at all engaged. They are just consumers. I am buying because I need something. Does it mean I am happy or I am really loyal? Today, because of the price I have gone to BSNL, but if BSNL increases prices or anybody else decreases prices, I will come back. It may also happen, and which happens, that's why I am giving you example. It may also happen that after experiencing the BSNL service, I may say it's okay to give more money, but I may leave BSNL quickly and go back to Jio or Bharti, despite of higher prices. And this exactly happened in America. In America, we have almost similar situation. These guys, what they do, every brand wants to create a monopoly. Every brand. So what they did was, there was many service providers, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon. So like that, there were many service providers. And what has happened? Verizon has acquired most of the companies to become the largest service provider. It has acquired most of the companies. When you acquire, they belong to you. This is the most expensive. T-Mobile is the most expensive. AT&T was leader, which has almost non-existent, which is almost non-existent now. It's like BSNL. It's almost non-existent. Occasionally it gets some customers whenever the price fluctuation happens, but people will move for some time and then they will leave it. So we have only 2 players, T-Mobile and Verizon. So because T-Mobile is little expensive as compared to Verizon, it's just little different, but the difference exists. So because of this, what is happening, and Verizon claims that they have the biggest coverage and the largest network in America, simply because they have acquired all small big players across the country. So on paper, technically they have everywhere. But the problem with Verizon phone is it does not connect anywhere. Its connectivity is very poor, like BSNL connectivity. It's cheap, everything is fine, but it doesn't connect very well. So people move to Verizon, and when they move to Verizon, active, intense loyalty of T-Mobile decreased because of the Verizon efforts. Verizon did massive promotions, very cheap phone. Even one of my relatives who used T-Mobile for 20 years, and he used to praise T-Mobile like anything. He was advocate. He moved to Verizon, and then he came to India last year. These are the people who travel India once in 2 years, 5 years, because not everybody has too much money. In America you get money, but your expenditure is also very high. So therefore not everybody can afford to travel every year, right? So many people travel once in 5 years, some once in 10 years, some once in 2 years. Very rarely you will find somebody traveling every year. I am the one who travels twice a year. So I am sometimes even 3 times a year. So when this person changed and came to India, his phone was not connecting to any network. And he is in a very senior position in his company. So actually his phone is a company phone. So he needs to be on network. But his phone did not connect with any network in India at all. So the moment he left New York, after that he was out of network everywhere. My T-Mobile connects even in the air. Unless a country has banned the network in the air, like India has banned the network in the air. So when I was coming back, until we touched the Indian airspace, my mobile was working and I was texting and WhatsApp and Facebook, everything from there. But the moment we entered the Indian space, the network got disconnected. So that's it. Indian airspace has banned it from the security perspective. But as soon as I landed in the airport, I think few hundred or few thousand feet above the ground, 2,000 or 3,000 feet above the ground, my phone again started working. So it works, my phone works everywhere in the world. And that is free data. Free data means it's included in my monthly package. I don't have to pay extra money for using my internet data in India, in my American. So I pay more money, but my connectivity is extremely important. So I am highly engaged, and that benefit is so good. I even tell people that if you have any international activity, international travel or even domestic travel, go for T-Mobile. So my relative, the moment he came back, he called me and he said, you go to India and other countries very regularly, which mobile service provider do you use that your phone work? I just went to India and for 1 month I was out of work. So I told him I am using T-Mobile. So he said, you are using T-Mobile? He was shocked. I said yes, and he said it works. I said you even talked to me on WhatsApp when you were in America and I was in India. So that's not an evidence that it works. And then that guy immediately changed from Verizon. He has signed the contract. So he paid penalty to terminate the contract with Verizon and move to T-Mobile. So these kind of movements can also happen if the brand maintains. That's where the brand marketing, and marketing is not only, you may think it's advertising and communication. No, marketing is also the delivery of service. It's a service product. Service, very critical part is delivery. What you promise, can you deliver? That's extremely critical part. So here, as I told you, that this fight, like the fight in India between Jio and Bharti Airtel is happening in US as well. This one you can get for $25 per month. If you are taking monthly subscription, you can get it for $25 per month. And here, the lowest is $45 per month. Is the price difference little? It's a huge price difference, right? I think between BSNL and Bharti and Jio, the difference may not be so big. This is dollar terms I am telling, so you have to take the percentage, right? From percentage point of view, you can see that this is 40% more than this, right? Or more than 40%. 80%, right, 80%. So 80% more the loyal customers are paying because the company delivers on its promise. This less price, almost half of this, people still don't love it, they don't resonate because it does not deliver what it promises. So service branding, the delivery becomes the most critical part. Any question on this? Is this clear? Now, then we are talking about this concept. There's also the negative brand engagement, what we are talking about. Like I told you, this is a negative brand engagement, this is a positive brand engagement. So when a price increases, temporarily we may feel unhappy about it, right? But when we look at benefits, we change our mindset. But in case of Reliance and Jio example that you gave, especially saying that I don't want Reliance to have a monopoly, these kind of statements are showing negative brand engagement with Reliance. Does not necessarily mean positive brand engagement with Bharti, but at least a negative brand engagement with Jio, which is very dangerous. Negative brand engagement is very dangerous. What it means is, when you are unhappy with a particular brand, then what you do is, like with positive, you are brand ambassadors. With negative also you are brand ambassadors, but you are spreading negative.
Which is faster than positive.
It's faster, more channels are used, and for positive brand equity you may have less advocacy. For negative brand engagement there is more advocacy.
80-20.
More people talk about it.
80-20.
Correct. So it's very important that we stop this. We avoid the boycott. As I said, that there is sometimes social movement against the brand. People boycott, and in the previous session I gave you a lot of examples of that. So that's very important for you to ensure that you manage this. It happens even with airlines, it happens with telecom, it happens with regular products. Coca-Cola, for example. Coca-Cola, there was a protest against Coca-Cola. There was movement against Coca-Cola. There have been, in India itself, there have been protests against Coca-Cola, right? So these are dangerous situations, and that's why it's important to ensure that you don't get into this. Okay, this is the last slide on this about the brand management structure. So how should you structure the brand management organization, the brand management team? These are some of the guidelines for that, and I will not read these guidelines. They are written in a very self-explanatory, detailed manner. I will leave it for you to read, and then any questions you can ask. I move to the third session now. The third session is about this. This is about creation of brand associations. That's what I started. Creation of brand association and assessing impact on existing brand knowledge. When you extend the brand, how do they impact the existing brand? Like I told you, the Snapple came with the snacks. Did it negatively impact the Snapple drinks? No. Right? But potentially there may be problems for Pepsi snacks if you have got, and therefore Pepsi did not use the snacks, Pepsi snacks, they called it liquor. Right? So, therefore, we are going to talk about brand association, and to show this, first I am going to show you a video. This is brand association for Apple phone. And why I am showing this? Because as on today, Apple has the highest brand equity. It has the highest brand equity, and therefore we need to see, after all they must have done something great. That's why there is the highest brand equity. So let's watch this. I need your help, my friend. It will run? Okay. The sounds?
In this video, I will just quickly explain how to read a brand association map. What I'm using is a template that is available for free at perceptualmaps.com. There is a link below. Okay, I run a brand association map for Apple, and this is the outcome. So obviously we've got our brand here, and basically we've got Apple very close to innovation. Now, of course, we've compared all these points in the data. All of these should be relatively interrelated. So expensive and quality sits together, innovation and high tech sits together, status and stylish, status and quality, etc., fun and friendly. So associated logical attributes fit together much in the same way as a perceptual map. Obviously, the closer we are, the more relevant we are to that particular attribute. However, if we have something that is quite different and sort of doesn't logically fit anywhere, sometimes the map sort of puts it off to the side. So we know it's relatively easy to use, but we've also got a difference between easy to use and expensive and quality. Often we think of easy to use to be simplistic. So when we collected the data, we worked out that, hey, Apple's strongly associated here. And the other factor I've got here is competitors. So competitors often push around the data a little bit because they're a little bit different to what the main brand is. So basically, that's all we're doing. They're quite very attractive visual techniques, very handy for assignments and generating where the brand is at the moment. So as I said, this is from a free template, links below, feel free to download.
Okay. So this, what you have just seen, is called brand association map. It's called brand association map, and we have, when we develop the brand strategy, brand positioning, the first step is to create an association map. And this one you can watch again by clicking on that link, and when you go to the YouTube, at the bottom you will find he has given a link for free template
Perceptual mapping.
for perceptual mapping. So based on consumer's map, you are able to find, and one thing that you will see, the association is with a lot of benefits and intangible factors, but also Apple is always, whenever you think about Apple, you also associate with a competitor. No other brand, only Samsung. Correct? So this is something that I wanted you to know. Now, let me move further. And this is for Apple positioning. This is one of the greatest campaign in the world, the most successful campaign for repositioning the brand, changing the consumer's mindset, converting a loss-making, 12 years loss-making company into a profit-making brand. This campaign was developed, and this has been considered in the modern era the most successful brand campaign. I want you to watch this to see what is unique about it. Is it in full volume? Sujit? Hopefully. Computer is with full volume. You all are able to hear it clearly? Okay. So please watch this carefully. It's slightly longer, 9 or 10 minutes, but it's worth watching.
Everybody, in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite mesh Wi-Fi systems. I'm really going to touch on the features and specs of each one of these, and I'm actually going to break it into 3 different categories.
I'm skipping that, yeah.
Budget system, we're going mid-range, and then we'll...
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm skipping here, but for some reason it's not skipping.
some really high-end systems. And the real question becomes, what does spending more actually get you? Is it really worth it? Well, we're going to find out. If you guys missed the first few videos in this networking series,
Oh, it won't come. You have to first go to the slide.
Products. To answer that, we need to travel back to 90.
Yeah, this one. Slide so. No. Just one slide so first. And then, wait. Now do it. The ad is gone.
Products. To answer that, we need to travel back to 1997, a time when Apple was struggling and
So that was correct.
Subhas Bose Institute of Hotel Management have placed about 10,000 students in hotels, hospitals, airlines, and cruise in the last 26 years.
ये कहाँ से आ गया? मेरे कंप्यूटर में ये कौन आ गया?
products. To answer that, we need to travel back to 1997.
Okay. Whatever you want. You can take your copy. Yeah. So remember, with all videos, I have given you the link, so you can comfortably watch again. But we need to watch this. Something has to be done visually. Do you guys know why he's fixing? Do you guys know the history of Steve Jobs? What is the history of it? Oh my God. What do you know about Steve Jobs' history? Has he ever seen his biological father? You know biological father? Has he ever seen in his life his biological father? Has he ever seen his biological mother? Anyone? Never. He was born to an unmarried woman and who was not educated. Sorry?
He wanted to kill him.
Yes, who wanted to kill him. And the lady was uneducated. On the advice of doctors, she accepted to give her child for adoption. And in America, there is a process of adoption. You have to qualify the process. So the couple who qualified for it, they told a lie because her mother wanted to adopt her son by a family, her child by a family that is highly educated. They have university education. So the couple lied that they have university education, and both of them did not have a university education. I think the adopted couple, the husband was, you need something? The husband was high school failed and mother was just high school. They were not university educated. And when the child was born, the hospital called them that your child is ready, you can come for adoption. The couple said, what is the gender of child, because those days the gender identification was not happening, the technology was not public, so it was not happening. So until the child is born, the gender was not known. So they asked what is the gender, and they said it's a boy. The couple said will not adopt because we just want to adopt a girl. So they refused. Now the mother has given birth to the child. She has no money to keep him, and the adopted couple is not ready to accept a boy. So big problem. Somehow hospital convinced them to adopt a son. When they convinced, mother asked for the certificates, and they could not produce their educational certificate. The biological mother asked. So mother refused to give the child to the family. Just imagine the struggle this child is facing when he is born, just when he is born. We all start crying and get into depression and go to the doctor with a small matter. Look at this fellow, at the birth itself is a struggle, not finding parents. Can you imagine? So they could not produce the certificate. When they could not produce the certificate, then she refused. But she cannot keep the child. So the doctor somehow convinced, and that parents gave in writing that don't worry, we are not educated, but your objective was that you wanted educated couple so that they can educate the child, because that was the main objective. Because she was not educated, the man who was responsible for the birth was not educated and was not married, run away, no idea who is his biological father. The mother also didn't know who is his biological father. So because of that situation, in writing, affidavit was given by the couple that they will educate. So they kept their promise and they sent him to further education. When he went to the university, everything that they were teaching, he was not interested. Like many of us, we get admission in a program and we are not interested in any class. We don't find any class interesting. So he was not interested in anything that was happening there. Are you ready? Oh my God, why we are not able to show any video to our students? They are so useful things to explain the concept. If it is not happening, it's okay. With phone, it won't happen. So what happened? He decided to drop out. He was under stress, so he decided to drop out. When he decided to drop out, now he was free from the mind. He became free. But he was having a guilt that my biological mother wanted me to be educated. He has not seen his biological mother, but the adopted couple told that your mother wanted and therefore you must study. So he was having guilt. But what he did, it was good for him that he can go to other classes and sit. The classes that he was interested in. So you know the calligraphy.
To answer that, we need to travel back to In 1997, Apple released their most famous commercial of all time. This commercial would not only save Apple from going out of business, but would also pave the way for amazing innovations like the iPhone, MacBook, AirPods, and many, many more. It sprung Apple into popularity and made them a $2 trillion company. So, how did they do it? Who made this commercial? And how did it motivate billions of people to buy Apple products? To answer that, we need to travel back to 1997, a time when Apple was struggling and on a downward spiral toward bankruptcy. In 1997, Apple was in a very dark place in its history. With competitors like IBM and Microsoft dominating the market, there were widespread predictions that Apple would disappear forever. Apple's share of the computer market had plummeted from a peak of 14% in 1993 to below 3% in 1997. As a matter of fact, they were doing so bad that in early 1997, they only had 90 days of money left to stay in business. The company was floundering due to poor product launches, a horrible operating system, and a lack of focus overall. That lack of focus might have been a result of Steve Jobs being fired from the company a decade previously in 1985. That year, Jobs was forced out of his own company after a long power struggle with the company's board and its then CEO, John Sculley. Thirsty for revenge, Jobs took a few Apple employees with him to create Next, a computer platform development company that specialized in computers for higher education and business use. Steve would eventually get his revenge because in mid-1997, Apple ironically bought out Steve's company because he had created a revolutionary operating system called NextStep, which would later serve as the foundation for Mac OS. Apple welcomed him back as the CEO, and now that Jobs was back, it was time for him to plan a revival for Apple. He instantly noticed one problem that was destroying Apple's brand and reputation. Their advertising strategy was horrible. Apple was running more than 25 different advertising campaigns all around the world, and all of them were misaligned with the brand's core beliefs. Also during this period, BBDO, Apple's advertising agency, had opted to focus its advertisements on specific Apple products and the technological features of Apple computers. These efforts did nothing to ease consumers' fears that Apple was eventually going to go out of business. People didn't want to buy a computer that they thought wouldn't be around the next year. Steve knew that Apple needed a brand new single advertising campaign to woo consumers back to the brand. He wanted to find a new advertising agency to do so. So he dropped BBDO and searched for a new one. And this search would eventually lead to the advertising agency that would create Apple's most influential campaign of all time. During this same time period, an ad agency called TBWA was going about business as usual. They were a huge ad agency that worked with big companies like Nissan and Infiniti. One day at work, Lee Cloud, the chairman and global director for the agency, got a call from Steve regarding a meeting he wanted to have with them. Excited as could be, Lee, along with Rob Siltanen, the chief creative officer at TBWA, flew out to California to attend the meeting. At the meeting, Steve said that, "We have some decent product, but we need to get things figured out. I'm putting the advertising up for review, and I'm meeting with a handful of agencies to see who gets it. I've already been talking with a couple of agencies that seem pretty good, and you're invited to pitch the account if you're interested." This made Lee and Rob very upset, as they had no plans to pitch anything against other agencies and expected to get their account right away. They thought they would get it because Apple and TBWA had worked in the past, most notably on Apple's legendary 1984 commercial. Regardless, Lee still wanted to pitch them because he thought it would make a great story. So, Lee and Rob returned to New York and requested that people started creating ideas immediately. One of those people was Craig Tanimoto, a TBWA art director. He started to draw some sketches of legendary people in history, like Thomas Edison and Albert Einstein, and combined them with Apple's logo and the words "Think Different." A week later, Craig pitched his idea to Rob and Lee at a meeting, and both were confused, but intrigued. Rob asked Craig what it all meant, and he said, "IBM has a campaign out that says Think IBM, a campaign for their ThinkPad computer, and I feel Apple is very different from IBM, so I felt Think Different was interesting. I then thought it would be cool to attach those words to some of the world's most different thinking people in the world." Rob and Lee loved the idea and tasked everyone in the room to start making a commercial about the idea and to blow it out on other media. The commercial they ended up making was over 2 minutes long, which was over the standard length of 1 minute, but it perfectly portrayed the vibe TBWA was going for. The commercial featured different thinking legends like MLK, John Lennon, Amelia Earhart, Muhammad Ali, and many more. The message of the commercial communicated what Apple stood for by celebrating and linking Apple to those innovators who moved the world ahead. The inference was that Apple users also think different, ask different questions, and potentially change the world. With the idea set in stone, Lee and Rob flew out to California to pitch the idea to Steve. Lee was the one who gave the entire pitch, and he nailed it. After the pitch, Jobs looked around the room filled with Think Different billboards and said, "This is great, this is really great, but I can't do this. People already think I'm an egotist, and putting the Apple logo up there with all these geniuses will get me skewered by the press." Steve then paused, looked around the room, and said, "What am I doing? Screw it. It's the right thing. It's great. Let's talk tomorrow." Steve didn't know it, but by bringing back TBWA, he would not only change the course of Apple, but the world as we know it. Lee and Rob were excited and more motivated than ever to finish and release the campaign. But there was a problem. The problem was that their commercial was too long and needed to be cut down from 2 minutes to 1 minute. So Rob rewrote the script of the commercial and cut down the dialogue to 60 seconds. He based the new script on quotes from Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society, and and he loved it. Lee loved it as well, so the two shared it with a bunch of people around the office, and several of them said it gave them goosebumps. With high hopes, Rob re-recorded a rough cut of the script, and the duo once again flew to California to share it with Steve. They played the audio for him once, and when it finished, Jobs said, "It sucks, I hate it. I thought you were going to write something like Dead Poets Society. This is crap." Rob was taken back by his outburst. He had poured his heart and soul into the piece, but Steve was still going off on him. Jobs continued to say he thought it was crap, and Lee, trying to put out the fire, said they would go back and try some other things. After returning to New York, Rob stopped working on the campaign to keep up with his clients at Nissan and Infiniti. Meanwhile, Lee gave the Apple script assignment to various copywriters within the agency and told them to make it better. One of the writers given this assignment was Ken Segal. Ken was a gifted writer who was hired shortly after TBWA got Apple's business. One day, Ken came into Rob's office and said, "Jobs has seen a ton of scripts, and he's gone full circle. We're moving ahead with your script. I made some tweaks. I hope you don't mind." Ken had added some beautiful additions to the script. His additional touches were terrific, and he truly did make the spot better than ever, but the heart and soul of the script from the original version stayed fully intact. The script was voiced over by Richard Dreyfuss, and the commercial was finalized and ready to release. So, on the 8th of August in 1997, at Macworld Expo, Steve Jobs introduced the world to Apple's new slogan, "Think Different." His presentation planted the seeds for the act, so it would seem more organic when Apple debuted the new commercial. And they did so when they aired the official Think Different commercial on September 28, 1997, right after the premiere of the animated film Toy Story. Soon after the release, the tagline "Think Different" accompanied Apple advertisements all over the place. Apple put up ads throughout the public, on billboards, magazines, newspapers, and buses. All the ads were the same, a black and white image of an innovative leader in history with "Think Different" printed in the corner. Suddenly, people began to realize that Apple wasn't just any old computer. It was so powerful and simple to use that it made the average computer user feel innovative and tech savvy. However, some of the talk about Think Different wasn't good. A writer for the Los Angeles Times ripped on the campaign, saying, "It's perfect that Apple is doing a campaign with a bunch of dead guys, because the brand will be dead soon too." But the great thing was, good or bad, people were talking about a brand that had fallen off the radar. And they were talking a lot. Apple clearly had a pulse, and while they weren't as strong as a lion, they certainly gave the impression they were. Apple was off to the races and about to make history, and they did exactly that. A year after the commercial launch, Apple's stock price had tripled, and by 2000, Apple was worth $5 billion, over double what they were worth in 1997. But the impact of Think Different was much bigger than the numbers. The tagline of the campaign expressed how, under Steve Jobs' leadership, Apple would construct a radically different future from its troubled days in the early 1990s. Apple's core beliefs of thinking different led to products like the iPod, iTunes, the App Store, the iPhone, the iPad, AirPods, the Apple Watch, and many more to come. Instead of contending for existing demand, these devices all took a similar strategic approach. They reconstructed existing market boundaries and created new demand, all as a result of thinking different. It's a strong argument to say that the reconstruction of Apple's core beliefs in 1997 to think different has led them to become a $2 trillion company. It's what made Apple into the cult-like company we know today, and has transformed the technology world as we know it.
Okay, friends, so
नमस्कार मैं रवीश हूँ
please go back to my slide. So, presentation. So what I was saying, this I'll get back to this, but let me quickly complete that. So he took the class of calligraphy, and that calligraphy is where you learn to write in different ways, right? That is what, when he came back, the Macintosh that he created was out of that. I have a video on that for you to watch at comfort. Okay, due to lack of time, I will not run that video. And this is the video. Don't run this, just leave it. As you can see, he is in the graduation convocation dress. You can see that. And this convocation is happening at Stanford in 2005. And Steve Jobs, this video is from Stanford. Okay, this is not from any other source. So it's not a doctoral video, it's from Stanford. No need to run, I do not. So this is what I want, you have the URL, so please watch it. It will tell you, that Steve had explained his own own story in his own words, and it's worth watching for all young generation people to learn that when you don't have even parents, you keep dreaming, nobody is there to support you, right? I have no resources. Look at the man who had nothing, who has not even seen his parents. What he has done for the world. And this Think Different campaign that I told you, just simple 2 words, think different, that changed the Apple history as you watched in the video. The Think Different is used as brand mantra by Apple. It's their slogan, it's their tagline. So the way they identify it, it is used for every purpose. And as you have seen, the advertisements were only talking, you have seen the pictures, etc. of those people who did things differently, like Mahatma Gandhi. Let's not get into the political debate about Mahatma Gandhi, but outside India, Mahatma Gandhi is known for getting India's freedom with non-violence. How true, wrong, doesn't matter. What word perceives is what we are talking here. So he took those guys and he put that, and you heard people say, he brought dead guys because Apple will be dead soon. You heard that, right? But nothing like that happened. And all the advertisements, instead of having the description about the product, technical features, people don't buy technical features. The Apple logo and Think Different, and then you have picture or something, and that's how they sold it. Sorry, you had a question.
The documentary was mostly of TVW.
Yeah.
What about Apple?
I know, because the thing is, because TDWA developed, so that's why they are presenting it. But there is also the same part, not exactly the same, because here there is a voiceover by TW. The Apple has also this video available on their site, because this is an iconic video. So I could not locate it because of the Wi-Fi problem here in the campus. But you can perhaps search for it on Apple website. They have the original video where Steve Jobs is actually launching this campaign. This campaign was launched by Steve Jobs first in a meeting with his employees, only employees, and then he launched this to the board members, and then it was taken to the market. That in Steve Jobs' words, the video is available somewhere. So he has taken only parts, but it was still a lesson because you see the story behind how this has been developed. Because they developed it, that's why this has been so. But this one, the other picture that I was talking about, gone. So Think Different. The whole idea is that for brand building, your brand mantra, slogan, tagline could be as small as 2 words, but very effective, very relevant. Now look at this association. When we talk about time, you think thinking different will not remain relevant and salient 50 years down the line? Timeless. That's the key point. If you want brand to be associated for a longer period of time, it should be timeless. Is it working now? It still doesn't work, but that's okay. No, this one, and you can hear it doesn't go. Don't close. So this, if you can think something like that, then your brand associations, and this is why this brand association remains valid for all the products that we brought, all product categories. Now you see this important point, but not everybody has done it. The second example, successful example I showed you yesterday, McDonald's. 3 words, mantra, 3 words tagline, 3 words slogan. What was that? I told you yesterday, what was that? No. I'm loving it as slogan. The mantra, the 3 word brand mantra. are the three-word tagline.
Food, family.
Fun, fun is the first part. Fun, family and food. Fun, family and food. 3 words. Now tell me, when will this become irrelevant? Fun, as a human we will always want, every generation will want. Family, whether it is a nuclear family or it is a joint family, the family concept will remain as long as human beings exist, right? It may so happen that your family may consist of you and AI based dog. When we talk about the associations, look at it. We talked about associations with all the examples that we did in past. The primary associations that are related to the brand. Okay? Primary association that is related to the brand and the product. Like Think Different for Apple, innovative. We looked at some of those things, right? Those were primary association when we saw the Apple example. Then there are secondary associations. Brands are made up not just of primary but secondary. There are 4 types of secondary association. 1, 2, 3, 4 categories. I am touching here, somewhere else it goes. This is magic. Kala jadoo or white jadoo.
That's screen.
Let me just have that screen. I don't want anything else. Just that screen. That's my last slide. Please bring that back. That's it. Last slide for the day.
If everything has become AI, that will collapse the economy now, sir.
AI is collapsing economy, but this is just a
No. That buying power.
AI will not collapse the economy.
Sir.
No technology will collapse economy. Yes,
Sir,
my friend.
I just few days ago, I just read some article and seeing some videos over the YouTube. The AID is not taking the comment for shutting down.
AI is not taking the comment for
Comment for shutting down. And so if this happens, then it will be maybe take over in your future of human.
See, with any technology, anything can happen. We have nuclear power plants. Okay, we generate energy using nuclear technology. That is more efficient, less pollution, correct, and cheap to produce electricity for large countries. Russia did that. But Chernobyl, if you remember Chernobyl in Russia, due to some human error, the plant had a blast. The plant was, explosion happened and people got affected in that area. Some people died of radiation immediately and they may also have the radiation problem in future. So technology has positive and negative. If you don't manage properly, anything can happen with any technology. You have a car, don't maintain that car, take driving on a hill, downhill, it does not apply the brake, the steering doesn't move, you will crash. What can you do? So you don't drive car?
Like for that type of technology, it doesn't have any kind of feeling or own generative power, own thinking power. But right now, the company in a race like developing the AI in a model that it can obviously trained by itself only, but in a way that it can easily overcome the human thinking power, novelty create power.
See, I will tell you one thing. Whenever a new technology is brought or a new product is brought, there will always be some people who will criticize it. Okay? And will have a negative perception of them. Always. I remember in 1980-81, the television was brought to the country. Before 80, we didn't have television. All over India, there was a protest that television will damage our eyes. Okay? Is there anybody who could stop television?
No.
Has it damaged everyone's eyes? The Indians are all blind?
No.
Same problem. Tesla is AI driven car. Okay? I do not drive my car at all. I just sit on my seat, only on my seat, put the address, don't even touch the steering. and my car takes me from X destination to Y destination. It stops on the stop sign, it checks the signal, it turns automatically, it does everything on its own. You will find plenty of YouTube video where they will show that the AI auto driver in the Tesla car has created havoc, right? I am using for 2 years. After my brain hemorrhage, I had no choice but to take an AI driver, because that driver will be less prone to human error. Until today, there is not a single scratch to anybody or to my car. So whom do I believe? My experience or that YouTube videos, which can be doctored today?
Your own experience.
Exactly. So that's the point. Until you have experience, this is the experience economy. Until you experience, don't trust.
We can't judge.
Don't believe. Right? And everything has negative effects. Okay, let's get back to this association part. This slide is with you. Why are you making map? Slide is already with you. So let's look at this. So there are associations linked directly to the product. So Tesla has a lot of brand associations because of the benefits of the car. But Tesla also has a brand association, which sometimes is very negative brand association with its owner called Elon Musk. The moment he tweets something in that car, he opens his mouth, controversial statement comes, and the sales drops for Tesla car. That's called secondary brand association. So 4 types. 1 is people, 2 is place, 3 is things, various things associated with it, and 4 is other brands. Okay? Let's start with people. Especially services sector and business to business sector. People are very important. Who are these people? Employees, the service provider, the implementers, the installers, right? The delivery. They are very, very important. Hospitals, what are they known for? Doctors, correct? Universities. In India, of course, they have a brand and people are known by brand. But in America, universities are built by people, by professors. Kellogg became #1 in the marketing in the world. Why? Philip Kotler was a professor for more than 50 years, 60 years actually. Philip Kotler started as assistant professor and was professor, and at 94 he retired. That long period, so people went to Kellogg, and Kellogg was considered #1 in marketing because of Philip Kotler. So Philip Kotler brand added to Kellogg, not Kellogg added to Philip Kotler. When Philip Kotler joined Kellogg, Kellogg was not very well known. It was Philip Kotler who made Kellogg. So that is the importance of people's association, employee. C.K. Prahalad, I talked to you people the other day. C.K. Prahalad made a big contribution to Ross School, Stephen M. Ross School of Business, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, because of his theories that he created. It is not the University of Michigan that contributed to it. He added value to the University of Michigan. We rarely find that phenomena in India, but outside many people have created that phenomenon, right? So these days, Wharton School of Business, that is University of Pennsylvania, people have little negative thought about it. It was very popular and respected. Negative thoughts. Why? The president of a particular country, large country, is a product of that university. And the way he takes the decision, the president takes the decision, people think that that university is producing crazy guys. Okay? So these are called associations. They could be positive, they could be negative. So service industry, B2B industry, employees. The second is endorsers, right? We talk about celebrity endorsements. We get endorsements, right? That is what? They are not the part of the brand. They are endorsing the brand. So they bring that association back to the brand. Human beings have problems. The celebrity endorsers, celebrity human beings, they have problems. For example, the most famous problem is the Tiger Woods. Do you guys know Tiger Woods? young generation doesn't know it. Maybe some of you know Tiger Woods? Huh? Golf player, yes. So golf player, you should read about him. He was the highest paid celebrity in the world at this time. And overnight, all the endorsement contracts were stopped, terminated, overnight. Because he did something which was not as per the social norms, and therefore he became unfamous. And brands wanted to disassociate immediately. This is a problem with human beings. So these days we have virtual influencers. Virtual influencers. And in one of the class I will show you a couple of virtual influencers. The virtual influencers are AI generated people, AI generated humans. You will not be able to see the difference whether they are machine or they are real people. The good thing is, they will not become Tiger Woods. They cannot commit mistakes unless they will do what we program them to. That's point one. Point two, I can immediately, if there is a mistake I have done, I can immediately reprogram. And without reshooting in that human celebrity endorsement, if one shot has gone bad or people have not accepted it well, you have to reshoot it. But virtual influencer, you don't have to do reshooting. It's just a programming. So you can quickly sit and change that program and immediately push it to all the media where you have been using to endorse your brand. So virtual influencers are changing this particular dimension in a big way, and they have very strong association. Today the highest paid virtual influencer is called Lil Miquela. Have you ever heard the name Lil Miquela? No? I will show you in Monday class, I will show you a small video about Lil Miquela. She is the highest paid celebrity endorser. But it's, now that I have told you virtual, I should have first shown you and then asked you, do you know this person? But now you will know that it's a machine. So that's the wonderful thing that is happening. Very good association. So you have control. My point was, you didn't have control here. The people are the most difficult thing to control. But now you have control. And this is the reason, because in China and Japan, as I said, the difficulty is the men and women compatibility issue, the conflict. With those AI men and women, there is no conflict issue. They only treat you nicely, happily, maintain the peace. If you abuse them, they will not abuse you. They will only come and say, cool down, calm down, I'm here to help you, right? Despite of whatever you do. But what if you had a human partner? What will human partner? Slap and beat you back and throw you out of your home or leave your home and go. Correct? Problem sorted. So, this is one. Now, second important part, place. In the place there are two things. Country of origin. German cars. What is the association? Germany association with car. German car. What is the association? High tech, high quality, safety. Right? Volvo bus, when you say it's a Swedish brand, Volvo. But what do you talk about Volvo? Why do you travel Volvo? Safety. Correct? So, those are the strong associations, country of origin. Chinese brands, poor quality, cheap price. Association, right? Right or wrong? Nobody knows. Because even the Apple phone that you may be using and paying a lot of money, your so-called best phone is manufactured in China. It's not manufactured in the United States. So if they can produce this, and everything that you use, some of the best that you think is the best, your HP computer that you are using, it's an American brand, but it's all manufactured in China. So, point here is that we have perception, association. That association is not necessarily true and correct. You get the point? But association is association. So, country of origin. Second part is the channel, retail channel. Where are you selling? Same product on Amazon. versus same product on Sangeet Commerce Academy. Which one will you trust? Sangeet? He will trust Sangeet Commerce Academy. But I think most of us will trust Amazon. And even if we have to pay more, we will pay more. Okay? So, where you are selling, a respected seller, even television, I remember in 96, when I was in Mumbai, I moved to Mumbai, and when I moved to Mumbai, I wanted to buy television. So I asked my colleagues, where can I buy television? And they said, Sony Moni ke yahan se. The shop name was called Sony Moni. And it was a retail chain for electronic goods in Mumbai. They had some 4 or 5 shops, and they were known for no bargaining, reasonable price, no fake counterfeit products, excellent product, delivery and service. So Sony Moni ke yahan se. So they had a reputation. So whether you bought from Sony Moni ke yahan se or Chheda Electronics, there was another one called Chheda Electronics. CHEDDA, how do you call? Chheda, right? Chheda Electronics. This fellow, I don't know what he is understanding. He is laughing on Chheda Electronics. So that was Chheda Electronics. No trust on that. So this place, distribution and country of origin has association on the brand. Things, which events they are associated with. What kind of causes they are associated with. What kind of third party endorsements they are getting. They also have impact on it. Why certain brands sponsor your IPL? Think about it. Certain brands, when they are new, they try to get a place to sponsor IPL. Because the exposure, awareness, brand building, people start thinking, oh, this is in the match that I love, must be a good brand. Correct? That's the association that comes. Formula One racing. Toyota makes Formula One racing car in Cologne city in Germany, not in Japan. And they sponsor certain racer every year. These racers they sponsor means all the expenditure for them, they take care, they give them money, and the car that they make is for them. This factory, I have personally visited in Cologne. This factory produces only 6 cars every year, because Formula One racing cars public doesn't buy, it's only the racers, and they don't buy, it's given to them. So this is a cost center for Toyota. Why do they do that? Because they want to create that association that the car is so powerful, so reliable, that even the Formula One racers are using this car. Understand? So that's the brand building by associating with it. The last thing is other brands. So have you heard about co-branding? HDFC Visa card. So Visa is one brand, HDFC is another brand. Visa is a credit brand, HDFC is a bank brand. Correct? This is called alliances, co-branding. So you have various kinds of things here. As I said, alliances. Maruti, Suzuki used to be, now they are separated. You know that, right? Maruti is separate, Suzuki is separate. Hero, Honda. Now you have Honda and Hero. So that, then we have ingredient branding. Ingredient branding is what we were talking yesterday. So for example, the laptop. This laptop, beautiful laptop, has AMD here. And Sandeep's laptop has Intel something there, Core 3 or Core i3 or something like that, right? So this is called, you are making it famous by an ingredient. The latest most successful example of ingredient branding. It used to be Intel, but the most latest is Swarovski. Have you heard about Swarovski? Do you know what is Swarovski? Nobody knows Swarovski in this country? You know it? What is it? Can you explain? Huh? Now you see what she says. Swarovski is the jewelry brand. This is what she understands, which is wrong. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'll tell you why you are wrong. Don't worry. I'll tell you. I'll come to that. What is Swarovski? Anybody else has heard about Swarovski? Swarovski is a company that started making crystals and the items out of crystals, the decorative items out of the crystals. The Swarovski crystals were